Well, good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to another Rise and Thrive, where we are rising out of financial slumps and thriving in financial freedom. I'm your host, Dr. A.D. Burns, and this is my co-host, Brother Minister James Jones. How you doing, Minister Jones?
I'm doing real good, Pastor. Doing good.
Good.
And good evening to all my grinders. That's what
All
we
right.
do.
All right. That's what y'all do. So
That's what
how's your week so far?
my week has actually been up and down. It's just a lot of stuff going. There's a lot of stuff influx coming up for the summer. There's a lot of things going out the door, a lot of stuff coming in. So it's fun. We got past that May, June transitioning where the kids are getting out of school and summer is starting. So we got past that little rocky transition. So now it's summer fun. So
Okay, summer fun, huh? Well,
oh yeah,
summertime is another good time to hone in your skills when it comes to financial literacy. Many times, our spending regimen that we have throughout the fall and the winter is much different than the summer. And usually in the fall and winter, you on some type of routine. You got your kids in school, you breakfast, dinner, blah blah blah. But then during the summer times, they're at home all the time, most of the time, or they're home more than they were before. And summer can kind of interrupt the schedule a little bit. And
yes,
so being able to be conscious, because oftentimes I think people, have a tendency of overspending when they're spending for convenience. It's easier to just stop by McDonald's or, stop it and buy something already ready to go, because your schedule is kind of off kilt than it is to, normally you have whatever you put in the crock pot is ready when they get out of school or however you cook. And so what are some good tips for getting ready to start your summer, kids being at home when it comes to spending? Have you found that to be true, that your spending habits are different in the summer than they are during the school year, or are you pretty consistent?
I'm actually pretty consistent when it comes to summer and school. However, the cost of food always goes up. The cost of entertainment goes up because now the kids are there every day. So for me, my biggest thing is heating and not heating, but gas because the AC is on. So normally the house is when it's during the school year, if the heat is on, the heat is only on at a certain period because the house is empty. And when the AC is on, when our central air is on, it's only on at certain periods because everyone's at school. So when it comes to the summer, that's when things get a little shaky. That's why I was talking about that whole May, June, because
Mhm.
now your bills are rising in certain areas, and you like how is it rising? Easy because the kids are at home more, so now they're watching TV more and they're eating more and they're just doing more life inside of the house or around the house. So making that adjustment is one of those things that is it's expected, but you never know how much to expect.
And so you say they actually raise the prices of food and entertainment during the summer because they know more people are going to partake.
Yes.
Wow. I always thought that was wrong when, that supply and demand type of thing. Even like a plane ticket. If a plane ticket is $200, it's $200 whether I buy it the day before or whether I buy it 5 years in advance. It should be the same, but that's not the case. It's that whole supply and demand that they feel that they can they can charge you more because if it's in less demand. It's the same with a hotel room. I think the hotel room should be whatever the price is. If it's $100, it's $100. It should be more because it's a convention. I mean, hotel room is $100. I mean, but anyway, that's not how life goes. Oftentimes, that is a matter of raising things up according to supply and demand. And so when you think about that, you think about the summertime with the kids being home. You think about the summertime with the bills escalating because of more life happening at home, as well as uh, the rise of the prices of the food and entertainment. Um, do you find yourself, or what is good advice for people as far as adjusting to that if they're not as consistent when it comes to how they're spending?
The best advice I could tell you is to monitor, because the stuff you did this year, you probably going to do next year. So if you have no way of knowing, just follow the same trend you did this year. You're probably going to do, or typically do, a similar trend next year. So if you like traveling, guess what? You're probably not going to stop traveling. You're probably you may travel less, you may travel more, but you're still going to be a traveler. If you like basketball or football over the summer, you're not going to stop doing these things. You just got to be more mindful and then plan accordingly. If you never did it, if you never did any of the stuff I'm talking about, the easiest way to do it is just to make mental notes. Hey, guess what? I remember last year we had a family vacation that was like 3 days long. Or I remember last year that my sister ran me out to this event. She probably gonna want to do that again this year, or someone else will want to run me out. So you want to make sure that if you're not keeping track, to keep track. And if you're already doing it, then it's always good to make adjustments, because that's just how money flows.
That's a good segue into our tonight's show, because tonight we're continuing talking about the whole idea of using some type of assessment tool to monitor how much money that's coming in, but also monitor how much money is going out, and be able to also set goals as to how much money you're going to save. And so let's go ahead and jump right in tonight and see what we could pull together. And I think that even though consistency is the key, oftentimes I think there's a up and a down when it comes to the spending patterns of people. And so summertime will be a great time to start, even like right now, with a tool like our assessment tool that we're going to give to you absolutely free. Matter of fact, it'll be coming up in your chat if it's not in there already, your assessment tool. And we're going to walk you through that. And that's just a way of monitoring how much money you got coming in, how much money you got going out, and being able to target, even with the date, how much you want to save. And so, James, let's talk about that a little bit and see if we can help people this summer to begin to pump your brakes a little bit and take control over your money. Don't just allow your money to come in and go out, and you go through the summer, especially like if you're a teacher, you don't have the money coming in, or if you're a seasonal worker, you don't have the money coming in that you had during the time that you're working. So now will be a good time to establish a better spending pattern, and even after the summer, stay with that pattern, and all your excess you can begin to save. What do you think about that, Mr. J?
I think that's some good advice.
All right. Come on, let's talk about this assessment tool. Walk us through it.
Okay, so the assessment tool is a single use document. So I wanted to make sure that it was easy for everybody. Mm-hmm. So thank you for choosing Rise and Thrive. This is sponsored by Jericho Church Without Walls, and also the 3 Keys. So the assessment tool we can go over is your income, your expenses, and how to organize all of that information. So first thing on the assessment tool is your name and the date. So when it comes to the assessment tool, you always want to put your name and your date. And like all things that I talk about, and everything in which I'm always trying to get somebody to do, is we don't want you to make large leaps, tons of different steps. You make small adjustments. Because small adjustments will help you, one, stay on track, and small adjustments allow you the benefit and comfort of knowing that you have a safety net while you making these adjustments.
All right, now right there, I need you all to type in the chat, small adjustments. Come on, type in the chat, small adjustments. Come on, let me see you, small adjustments. Small adjustments. And small adjustments work for everything, whether you're exercising, whether you're trying to change your eating habits, whether you're trying to lose weight, or whatever you're trying to do. Small adjustments is the key. Matter of fact, I think I might have to, if I can remember, I got my little paper, let me write it down. I might give me a shirt made that says small adjustments.
Yes.
As a conversation starter, somebody see me walking down the street and they see my shirt, they say it's a small adjustment. They say, what does that mean? And then I'll be able to start. All right, come on, James, keep going.
I mean, even so, let's say that let's say you have more money or you have less money, right? The small adjustment for me is to make sure I'm putting $500 into my savings account by December 1st, 2024. Now, some people may say, oh, you could do more. Some may say, oh, you should do less. But what I'm saying is the small adjustments are always geared towards the person, not towards the community. So my small adjustment is making sure I'm putting at least $500 away in my savings account by December. By doing that, the preface is, one, it's my name. It's named towards me, James Jones. The next is the amount. The amount is $500. Where is it going? It's going into your savings account. When is it to get there? December 1st, 2024. And you want to make sure you have all of those aspects in it. Don't tell yourself, I'm going to save $100, because that doesn't say when. Don't say I will have a savings account, because it doesn't say how much will be going into it. It's only telling you that you will have a savings account. So when you pull up your vision of what will happen, make sure you put an amount, where is it going, and the date that total will be reached. Because remember, for me to hit December all the way from June, if I put $50 away, I'll be shortly underneath it. So I have to put at least $75 to $100 away every month. That may equate to $50 a paycheck. That may be $35 a week. The only thing that you or I will be focused on is making sure that I am putting that money away so I can reach that $500 by December 1st. And that's what I mean by small adjustments. I'm not talking about putting $100 away every single paycheck or $100 a month. I'm merely talking about $50, $35, things of that sort, and I would allow them to accumulate until I reach $500, because that's the target for my small adjustments.
Okay, all right, that's good. That's a 1, 2, 3 plan. You know, one, the amount; two, where is it going, and three, when it will be reached. So that's a nice 1, 2, 3. You know, and so the amount, how much it is going to be the target amount. All right, and then where it's going. You know, and then when is it going to be reached? All right, that's good. That's a good word. Yeah.
Now remember, the savings account is a savings account, so it's going there so it could do more things. The savings account is a temporary hold so you can go out and do great things. So for me, saving $500 would be a start for me, and then from that I can move that $500 into a CD, into a money market. I can invest it, but I want to make sure that I have the money set aside, and then I can move it properly.
Okay, and so then that's also another good word. What is up? We say step one is the savings account, and we talked about that last week.
Yes.
It's just somewhere we park the money at. That's a temporary hold. That's not where we let the money get spider webs at. You know, just parking it there is a place where we gather it. So we're just gathering the funds until in small adjustments until they reach the target number. And so let's say if we're going to do a $500 CD, so then I start putting $20 into my savings. And some days I put 100, other days I put 50, and I'm constantly putting money into my savings. And then finally one day it reaches $110. All right. So I mean $510. So then what I do is I take the 500 now and I take it out of the savings and move it into a CD, you know, if that's being the goal, and leave the $10 in the savings account to keep it open. And then I start all over again. I continue with that pattern. All right. I continue with that pattern. Small adjustments, you know, moving it there to park it. That's not where it's going to live the rest of its life. That's just where we're parking it at. till we get the target, because our money has an assignment. So once we get the target number that we desire, then we move it from there to wherever it is that we're doing, whether it be stocks, whether it be money market, or whether it be CDs. All right.
Yes, that was so excellent. You said that. That was, I couldn't have said that better. That was you had everything. You was like $510, and now I'm moving 500. I'm like, yes, that's exactly what it. That's exactly what it is.
All right, Financial Friday. Listen, I want to just pause and just say thank you to all of those. You know, I run into quite a few people as I'm out and about in this, in Milwaukee, that watches the show.
Yeah.
I'm constantly getting, thank you for helping our people, different things like that. And it's really kind of interesting to me. A lot of times I don't see them in the chat or anything, so, it's not like I have a record of that person being on there, but yet there are people that's seeing it. And so, I want to thank those of you who, encourage. As a matter of fact, if you're on today and Financial Fridays has been an encouragement to you on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, and you don't have to say 10 because you don't want to hurt my feelings because I'm a big boy. Now, James, I might have to pat him on the back, but he'll get over it. All right. Honesty is the best policy. So from 1 to 10, why don't you just write in the chat how much of a help Financial Friday has been for you? And, just 1 being not helpful at all, and 10 being the most helpful of helpful. All right, so we're talking about this assessment tool and how important it is to get control of your money, control where your money is going, manage your money, be good stewards over your money. If you don't give your money assignment, your money will give you an assignment, and that would be the money are just money have a tendency of just disappearing. You know what I mean? If you don't watch your money, you leave out the house. Let's say if I gave you $200 in small bills and you left out the house on Monday, I guarantee you by Friday, Saturday, there'll be some parts of that money you would have used and you don't know where it went. You'll have to really think hard to say, okay, what happened to it? You might be able to count to 80% of it, and then all of a sudden you try to figure out that little bit, because money is like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
You don't keep control over money and keep watch over it. Money, they call it currency. It'll flow. Yeah. All right, let's get back to this assessment tool. I'm really excited about the assessment tool because I know it's going to be a great help for those who are going to use it. And so hopefully you see it there in the chat, and then you could bring it up. Now, if you're only on one device, then we want you to kind of listen in, and then you can go back and look at it a little later on. You could always go back and visit Rise and Thrive. So let's pick back up where we were left off at right there, James.
Okay, so moving past that, directly underneath that is now I'm going to talk about your expenses. Now, I don't want you to think of expenses as a bad thing or a good thing. Expenses are something which we need to utilize in order to get things done. I remember one time I said expenses and somebody was like, ugh, those are worse. I'm like, no, they're not. I still need gas in my car. It's an expense. I need to have lights on in my house. That's an expense. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Some of these are just things that we need in order to facilitate what we're doing. So instead of saying expenses, I put down decreases. What is a decrease? Okay. And I want you to think of decreases as just something in which is decreasing. Remember, sometimes, or a lot of times, if not all the time, the words in which we say actually affect the way in which we see things. So as a result, I am also thinking about ways in which I say things. So I don't have a bunch of expenses. I do have a lot of decreases in a lot of my finances. I got things in which I need, and then I have some things in which I really didn't need. I just got myself into. So those are expenses, but I do have decreases. Like one, giving to charitable organizations or donations. Those are decreases, but they're not really expenses. So I want to make sure that the terminology is better suited for what we're doing. So you have two sides of the bracket. One side is monthly reoccurring. The other one is monthly non-recurring. So with those things, you can pretty much put into perspective what are all the things that you will be using every single month or has a staple. And like that, you will see that you have your rent. That's a staple. You're going to have a place to sleep in, or rent or mortgage. If you get past that, you still have lighting or electricity. You still have gas. Things that could be non-reoccurring. Could be like your credit card bills. Even though they're every month, they're not actually recurring, because if you paid off the balance, or if you paid them off the minimum balance, eventually they do hit correction. If they have an end point, because all credit cards have an end point. If you pay off the complete balance, then it won't be a balance for you. If you pay it off in a month or you pay it off in 3 years, it still has an end point. The same could be said about your mortgage. If your mortgage was 30 years out, trust me, that's a recurring bill until it becomes close to the time that you are going to be paying it off. The same is true with your We Energies or your electricity, is that that's happening every single month. So you want to make sure that you differentiate between reoccurring and non-reoccurring. Okay, so moving past that, we have your income. Your income is being changed, because the terminology say income, but I want to change it to your increases. When I say you're increasing, because some people are getting not necessarily income, but they are getting increases, like alimony, or you're doing speaking engagements, or you're doing other things that still can bring in a profit. Or if you have a company that surpluses your money in through various means, those are not necessarily income, but they are increases into your pocketbook and also into your portfolio. So I changed this from income to increases. And we have the same thing. Some have monthly reoccurring and some have monthly non-reoccurring. So if you're a sales agent, you may or may not have a sale coming in or out. So those are non-reoccurring. But if you work a regular job and you have a paycheck that will be happening every single week or every 2 weeks or once a month, those are all recurring. And as you differentiate between those two, then you'll have a better understanding of what's all going in and what's going out. And the biggest thing to think about is not that you have to have more one or the other. It's just that when you have reoccurring, those are more staples that you can depend on of that action happening every single month. When you have non-reoccurring, those are things in which you must work for, because those are not consistent things that happen every month. That's the only reason why I want you to separate those two, so you can get a better picture of what your increases look like.
Okay, now that's good. Now, I do think that it's important for people to understand that, you can't get hung up on terminology, and that's nice, James. He thought enough of us to soften the blow, but income or expenses, the important thing is that you get a handle over your finances,
Yeah.
And so when it comes to your cash flow, and so it's important, in order to create the cash flow, you have to be able to understand what's coming in and what's going out, whatever name you use it. And I don't want you, I need us to mature, to grow up, to come up another level. All right. Because it's so important that we understand that, it is a rite of passage, for us to have financial literacy. And we can't depend on somebody else to give it to us. The the scripture in Luke chapter 15 that talks about the prodigal son, very powerful text when he went and used all his food up, all his money up. The Bible called it riotous living. Prodigal means wasted his substance. When he went and wasted all his money and then joined himself as a citizen of that country, the Bible said no man gave him nothing. And so he had to elevate his thinking and rise up out of that situation and realize that whatever drove him from home, even though it might have been enough to cause him to leave, it wasn't that bad that he couldn't go back. And I'm saying the same thing for us. A lot of times now we're allowing, petty things to keep us from becoming better. And I understand it. Sometimes it's very difficult to understand a lot of this financial jargon, especially if you didn't grow up with it. And so it's a learning curve, but it's your responsibility as well as your rite of passage to learn it. And when you learn it, I'm telling you, your life would be so much better. It's nothing like financial freedom.
Yeah.
I ain't got to the place where I want to be yet when it comes to financial freedom, because I still, I ain't saying being wasteful, but I like to, I'm 6'5", a little over 250, maybe a lot over 250. And see, I think they made the new planes with the seats closer. I really believe they're closer than they were before. And so, brother like me, I need to be able to fly where, where when I get off the plane, my knees ain't hurting because the person in front of me laid down on them the whole flight. And I need to be able to purchase a first class ticket without thinking about it, because that's something that's, I really need to do for myself, versus folding me up and stuffing me in the back of one of those seats, But I'm saying financial freedom give me that opportunity that I will be able to choose what I want based on what I feel like I need, and I don't have to worry about how much it costs. Now, I'm not saying waste the money, and just go out and start spending frivolously. No, I'm not saying that. But there are some things that we need in life that would increase our quality of life that cost more.
Yes.
And a lot of times we're, what they say, reading the menu backwards. We're looking at how much it costs and then deciding what we're going to eat. Financial freedom, you can decide what you want to eat and whatever it's going to cost. I remember somewhere, Lady B and I, we was out for anniversary or some special occasion, and I can't remember what we ordered, but the lady kept saying, "Are you sure?" Like it was going to break us. You know what I mean? I didn't know if we were looking like we was poking. I thought we was dressed up pretty good. You know what I mean? But it wasn't a lot of us in that particular establishment. But she acted like that was gonna hurt me. And then I left her a tip, and she like, "You sure?" She, every time I was getting ready to spend some money, she wanted to know if I was sure. I was like, "Okay, maybe I should rethink this. Maybe I should keep it."
Did they do something to the food? Are they doing?
But I'm saying financial freedom is your rite of passage, but it's not something they hand out on street corners. You have to be willing to put on your big girl, big boy clothes, and you have to be willing to face the things that you're dealing with, and it won't stay that way all the time. The small increments to get you out of that situation or get you in a better situation or get you on top of a situation, small increments.
Yes.
You gotta be willing to learn. You gotta be willing to learn. And that's so important. I don't know if I said that right or not, Mr. J.
Trust me. I think you did a really good job at expressing yourself.
Okay. Because I'm not gonna pay you nothing.
No, because that reminds me of all the stuff that my mom did to make sure her kids went to private school. Like
Okay.
all the things that she did, all the little jobs that she took, all the ways that she might have put herself in debt or put herself behind just to make sure all of her kids was able to go to a private school and actually be afforded a good education. Because it's not as easy as people think, but you got to figure out, well, I may live in a not okay neighborhood or a less than desirable neighborhood, so I can afford to give my kids the private school experience. And those drawbacks for the potential is the biggest thing that we all have to go through, because everyone wants to strive for more. But are you willing to, if you don't have it, are you willing to sacrifice a little over here so the potential could be that much greater over here? And those are the things, or the small beginnings or the humble beginnings, that I had to deal with as I started getting a little older. And I was like, okay, cool. Why do we live here versus here? And why do I have to eat this food versus that food? And then you start noticing that, okay, those premium chilies, yeah, they cost $5, and the store-bought chili costs $1. So that's the reason why we're saving up. And then you use the premiums or pay this, or you can use the generics and pay this. I mean, even when it comes to medication, they actually add up a lot when you start putting all that information out and you start plotting it and saying, how much am I actually saving? Well, there's a reason. So that's why when I hear you say that, I thought that was funny, because I think I might have had a similar experience when I was younger. We went somewhere and somebody was like, are y'all, they give you a whole little face and you be like, yeah, something wrong with the food, or like, I can afford what I want. I'm asking you, is it good? Okay, cool. Then let's get in. Let's have a good time. But that is the biggest thing that we all have to become one with. Financial literacy is a I can't say it any better, but if you know how much you have, and you know how much you already are spending, you're very well equipped to look in the future and plan out if you're going to be successful, or if you can see hurdles, if you can see a pitfall, if you can see a mountain, or if you see clear selling or clear running, a clear road, if you see roadblocks. Because once you are beyond living paycheck to paycheck, you can start planning out what you're going to do with those small increments. When I do this long enough, this would make $500. Once I make $500, that $500 is going to do this for me. And once somebody has that financial literacy and they can start planning out their day-to-day operations, all of those things start falling in place. And then the choices become a lot easier.
And that's what we want. That's really what we want, because a lot of times we're doing things repeatedly because those are the things that have been handed down to us, and we are acting like we don't have a right to change or to do better. You know, it's like the story they tell about the woman who cut her turkey in half and put it in the oven, and the daughter asked her, Mom, why you cut your turkey in half, put it in the oven? She said, I don't know. Let's ask your grandmama. She has called her grandmama. Grandma, why you cut the turkey in half? You know, well, she asked her mother, and her mother said, that's how grandmama did it. So then let's call grandma. Grandma, why you cut the turkey in half and put it in the oven? Grandmama said, I don't know. That's my mother did it. Let's call great grandma. So they called great grandma and said, great grandma, why you cut the turkey in half and put it in the oven? She said, because her roasted pan was too small. So here, 2 generations, they're still cutting the turkey in half because that's what they saw. Her reason for cutting it in half was she had a small roasted pan, and now we're living in a time where we have the big roasted pans, you know what I mean? But we're still acting like we have a small one. And so a lot of times we're repeating cycles and behavior patterns, and we don't know why we're doing it. And we act like it's taboo for me to ask the question, or for me to, figure out why I'm doing it a certain way so that I can improve on it. You know, with my boys, I have 2 sons, and I want to see them do better than I did, and I want to see them improve on them. I don't want to see them to limit their potential just so they can make me feel comfortable with where I am. You know, if they're able to go and buy them a brand new off the showroom floor Mercedes Benz with all of the bells and whistles in it, if
Yes.
they're able to go buy them a 30,000 square foot mansion with, you know, a 6-car garage, I don't want them to not do it because they're gonna feel that I'm gonna feel bad because I only live in a, you know, however many square feet I live in. You know? And because, you know, in this season of my life, I'm buying used cars. You know, I haven't bought a brand new car in some years. Actually, since I believe I've been on 76th Street, so I've been about 12 years. But the point that I'm making is, oftentimes we are limiting ourselves, trying to make other people be comfortable with us. And people gonna talk about you any way you slice it, whether you're doing good, bad, or whatever. People gonna always have something to say. But as long as they're not paying your bills, writing you no check, you should be concerned about what they have to say. But it's so important that you up your game when it comes to financial literacy, so that not only you, but then you could teach your children and you could teach your grandchildren about the value of money, so that they will be able to set in motion generational wealth, you know, versus what many of us are living through, generational poverty. You know, and let's get back to our lesson. I got on my soapbox. I got on my soapbox. But no, I think that's important. Don't, you know, we've watched generations after generations, you know, struggle.
Yeah.
And we live in a country where we see foreign people come in, and I'm not shooting no darts at them. We see foreign people come in, and I was in Detroit by my friend's house. He lived in a ritzy suburb, and when I would go there and I would stay with him during the summer, you know, for a week or something, I would, you know, sleep at his house, and he had you know, some extra bedrooms at his house, and I used to go in and, you know, and then during the daytime I would get up and I would just walk through the neighborhood, and, you know, just taking me a walk, you know, and I would notice that there was no cars in the driveways. You know, it was like a ghost town. But then in the evening, when I would take me a walk, they would have 4 or 5 cars in the driveway. The weather being nice, they would have the garage door open, and when I look in the garage, they would have a TV, a couch, a refrigerator. It'd be like an apartment in the garage.
Yeah.
And so I asked my friend, I said, "Hey man, what's going on with these, you know, all these people down here?" And he said what they do, they come over and they buy this, you know, 5, 6 bedroom house. And then they move their people from overseas over here. And there'll be one family in the basement, one family on the first floor, one family on the second floor, and one family in the garage. And they pay that house off in no time. Then they go buy another house, and then somebody in that house move out, and they start the process all over again. And they just keep doing that. You know, they pool all of their resources together, and together they can live in this, you know, $500,000 house, whereas individually they'll probably be in an apartment. And I'm just saying, you know, in other cultures, we see how they are using their financial literacy in order to not just get ahead individually, but get ahead with their cultures. And I know there's some other perks and stuff that they give, but that's not the point. Understand what I'm saying. You know, don't write me no letters and, you know, fire back at me. Understand what I'm saying. We could do better as a culture, even if it's just within our own families. But we got to start somewhere. Come on, we're gonna be out of time in a minute. We can leave something on the table. You know, am I making sense? I don't even know if I'm making sense.
You are definitely making sense. You're definitely making sense. We should have this speech more like at the end, but you know, during the middle, it's still good. It's still good.
We can do this. Come on, we can do this, man. We are some smart people. Come on, let's get back to our list. Where we at? Come on.
Okay, we're at the increases.
All
so
right.
moving past the increases, you now have your totals. You have all your totals. So you do your decreases first. Actually, let me not say that. You got your name. Then you have your vision, which has those goals. Then you have your decreases, your increases, and then you have your totals. After your totals, for everyone, put your mantra. Your mantra is something in which you can say every time you do it, and it just makes you giggle or laugh or have a good time. It puts you in a good spirit. And then, or have encouragement. So something in which I think is hilarious and it makes me laugh all the time is just by saying my name. If I say James Jones, I laugh. That is hilarious to me. Just the sheer fact that somebody else has my name, when I say it, it makes me laugh. But my encouragement always, and it's everywhere. So if you see my name on something and you want to know if it's me or not, if it says strive for greatness and settle for nothing less, that's my encouragement to everybody, because that's what grinders do. We grind out all of the nonsense. We grind through all of the hardships. We grind through all the hard work. And then when you come out the back end, it's perfect. And you will want nothing else because you are grinding through. So one of my mantras and my encouragement is to strive for greatness and settle for nothing less. So when you do your assessment tool at the bottom, right, because you're going to see your totals, say something to yourself and then write it down. Make sure what you're writing down is actually impactful. I don't even care if it's a lyric from a rap song, from a R&B song, from a popular music. I don't care if it's Swamp Water. I don't care if it says something from country. It has to be something that resonates with you, because you will have to look at this thing and do what it's telling you to do. Okay. So personally, if you want to grab something out of Proverbs or Psalms, or you want to pick any other book in the Bible, make sure those things in which you're utilizing is something in which you, one, resonates with you, and two, actually encourage you to go out and do your vision.
Okay. That's a good word. Come on, let's keep on going. We got about 15 minutes. And so I want us to get through our lesson, and then we'll close it out.
Next one is how to organize your finances. So when it comes to your finances, you have to be very aware of your finances. So as that's just one sheet that you can put in, know that if you put 12 sheets together, you have a whole year. But I want to make sure that everything is brung to you very easily. So now you have your goals, and you have your vision, and you have your decreases, you have your increases, you have your totals, you have your mantra, you have your encouragement. Now you have your plan. You can print that document out, boom, place it behind you, place it in your bathroom, place it in your book bag, place it at your job at work, place it on your car, place it inside your glove box. Make sure that once you get this, now you can organize what you're doing. Once you know how much you have and how much is leaving, now you can organize. Hey, I got a bill on the 15th. I got a bill on the 1st. I got a check coming on the 6th. Okay, so it organized. I need to pay this first. The check comes in, and I'm paying this one second. And then that's when you can start making those small adjustments, taking $25 out, taking $5 out, and placing that into a savings account. And the reason why I say place it in a savings account is you do not want it to be active in money that is active. Because once you start finding out that you have money that is sitting aside that's not active, you may be more, the word is more willing to utilize that money and say to yourself, oh, okay, I'll just put it back later. when I know from experience that's not necessarily the case.
You have good intentions, but you have good intentions, right?
That's like I didn't know how to put that any better than that. Like, I know you want to say that you will replace the money, but I went through this personally. So after years of experience, I'm telling you that just simply not necessarily the case. Yeah, so you want to take it.
Not going to put it back.
Yeah, it just
most cases. Now here's the deal: when you have a pot that you have been saving up, and you have disciplined yourself to leave that pot alone for several months or whatever, in most cases, when you dip into that, not only are you not going to put it back, you're going to be more likely to dip into it again and again. And so, you
Yeah.
yeah. So
That's why I'm very stickler. Don't overdo this.
mhm.
Don't put a rent check in there and then like, well, it's in there now. No, don't do that. Do not do that. What I want you to do is put $5. Even if you got to put a quarter away or $1 away, you want to make those small, and I do mean small adjustments, so you're not dipping into it. So you don't think of it as that's another account for me. No, it's not. That's a purposed and assigned. That account is there for a purpose. It has a reason. It has a why. And as long as you understand that, you're less likely to dip into it. You're
Okay.
saving up.
No,
And
no, that's the more important part. And let me say this. I'm gonna go against them a little bit. I'm gonna go against our financial guru, brother Minister James Jones. But number one, the why is so important. You got to know why you're doing it, why you need to do it, why you should do it. The why. If the why is not big enough, then you're probably not going to do it. And there is a why big enough if you think it through. There is a reason why you need to do better financially if you think it through. There is a reason, even for you, your children. There is a reason for you. Listen, I had all these dreams and things that I was going to do, and I was going to retire at 65, and I was going to, have all these assets, and I was going to be rolling and all that. And shoes, I looked up one day, and I was 65. And those things I didn't have all of those things that I had desired to have by that point, and I wasn't ready to retire. And so the point that I'm making with you is you may be young right now and you may not see a need for it now, but that day is going to come when you're not able to run as fast as you used to. And, that day is going to come now when, they said most people, a large majority of the people who retire from a job have to go back to work after their retirement. And so I'm saying to you, you got to have a big why you need to save money, why you need to be financially literate, why you need to begin to change the way that you're spending and be more intentional about, controlling your money and not allowing your money to control you. There's a lot of things we think we need that we really don't. I bought things before, and after I bought it, I was like, why did I buy that? And I end up giving it away or something, and hopefully that's a better blessing than me having it. But the point that I'm saying is you got to have a big why. Secondly, we can do better than some chump change in a savings account. Small increments, but we can do better than putting a quarter in the savings account. Now, listen, if you can't put, $20 or $40 or $50 up without touching it, now, something wrong. Something wrong. All right. And I need you to know something wrong. But if you can't do that, okay, fine. But you can put $20 up. Now, come on now. You see my ink pen? I'm throwing it down right there. Come on now. Come on. You see my water bottle right here? I'm knocking it over. Come on now. We better than this. Come on. We got to step our game up. So I appreciate Brother Jane. He trying to help us. He's helping us. But you can step your game. You can be a little more aggressive than that. You spend $20 like it, 20. How fast $20 ago?
A day.
Come on now. So I need you to get with it now. I need you to have, what was our date? Oh, you said 12, 20, 24. Oh, that's too far. That was just
that's an example.
That was just an example. We were about to cut that thing down by about 6 months. Come on, it ain't gonna take us those 6 months to save no $500 now.
No.
Come on. Come on.
Yeah.
Hey, come on now. I need y'all. Come on, type in the chat for me. I can do it, Pastor. Say I can do it. I can do it. Or say we can do it. Or say you can do it. Just say do it.
That's actually hurt my jaw. I can.
Come on. I want you to be in shape now. You know, I want you to be in shape now. I don't know how long we've been doing Financial Friday right now, but I want you to be in shape now. You ain't gonna get in shape if you can't leave it there. With my grandmother's sister used to say, boy, she would give you some money, and before I get the money in my pocket, I was headed to the store. She said, you got a hole in your pocket, and what she say? And burning a hole in the pocket is something.
Burning a hole in your pocket. And the money burning a hole.
Burning a hole in the pocket and burning a hole in your shoe. Something like that. Something had to do with the shoe in the pocket. In other words, it went in my pocket with a hole in it because it didn't stay there long enough. And I burnt the hole in my shoe because I was headed to the store to spin it. So I'm saying to you, pump your brakes, slow down, rethink this thing. You can do better than just, a few coins. When we say small adjustments, okay, if that's all you got, okay, do that. All right. Some of y'all now, you can do better than that. Okay.
Some people can. Some people can.
Come on now, don't play me like that. I know you waste more money than that. You need to stay out of Walmart and them stores. Come on now. We want you to have some money at the end of this year. You're going to have big bank at the end of this year.
I can't follow that.
Come on, let's go back to our lesson.
Okay, so when it comes to organizing your financing, some of y'all, according to the pastor, can do more. So step your game up. He wants y'all to have $500 by tomorrow.
Yes.
But for the general people out there, start where you are able to start.
Where you are. Start where you are.
Yes.
Start where you are. Yes.
Don't
where you are. I'm downing you. I'm not downing nobody who have to start with a quarter or whatever.
Pastor gonna come at y'all. I understand y'all. Some of y'all can't start at a quarter. But
but don't sell yourself short. If you know you could do better, do better. Demand better of yourself.
The easiest way to start, let me do that. The easiest way to start is once you get done offering, tithing, bills. All right, we're gonna just do it like just do bills. All right. Once you get done, you're gonna have some money left over. Put half of that in your savings account.
Now we're talking.
That's what I'm telling you. Then the other half, you already did offerings, you already did your tithing, you already paid your bills. Whatever you got left, half to savings. That is the easiest way to get started.
All right.
Because by doing that, now you got a little bit of play money that you can assign to get the snacks that you may be looking for, eat the popcorn you may be looking for, or just being relaxed during the day that you're looking for. Now, if you can do more, do more. But if to do a baseline so everyone can be on the same page, remember, one thing that I did learn is that we all may not give the same, but we all do need to give. I think I said that correctly.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, not equal giving, but equal sacrifice.
Yeah, it's not equal. Yeah, it's not equal. It may not be equal giving or equal savings in this matter, but it is going to be equal sacrifice.
Yes.
So the guy who makes $5,000 a month and the guy who makes $1,000 a month, we may have different bills, but it is going to be equal sacrifice because if I'm living at a higher income and you're living at a lower income, or you're living at a higher income and I'm living at a lower income, when we pay all of our bills, because you paying $5,000 a month and I'm paying $1,000 a month, when we get done with all the bills, you may have $250 left. I may have $50 left. But I'm living off a $1,000 income and you're living off a $5,000 income. When I get on my $50, I'm gonna cut it in half and put $25 inside my savings account. You're gonna cut your $150 in half and put $120 inside your savings account. At the end of the day, we're still gonna reach our goal.
Yes.
But your goal may not be $500. Your goal may be $2,500. My goal may be $500.
Now we're talking. Yeah.
So we will still get there.
Yeah.
So to understand what Pastor is saying, some of you guys don't need to be at $500. You guys may need to be at $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
Some maybe need to be at $5,000. Others start off at $500. Okay, get there. Some of you may be at $250, but this is for you, not necessarily for me.
Yeah.
Okay. So my goal was $500. And when I reach $500, I'm not going to, if I get there before December 1st, I'm not going to stop and spend all the money. I'm going to transition that money to an assigned investment. And then I'm going to start all over again because it's the small adjustments that make all the stepping stones we need.
I'm in agreement with that. And I like the formula. I think that formula is a fair formula. Offering, tithes, bills, what's left, half of the savings. I think that's a great formula. And I'm also okay with the $500 that is a start. I'm just saying that oftentimes we take the low road, and when we can do better, that sometimes you might be able to just go drop $500 and go get you a CD and not even have to save for it, you know. And then I'm saying do that, you know. I'm saying don't, you know, small increments when you could do better,
Yeah.
you know. And no, you know, don't just appease the system. No, be purposeful and intentional about getting somewhere. And even if you can do 2,500, you know, I think that you should start where you are. But I think that because we're getting to a place, we talk about financial freedom. And so I forgot how Dave Ramsey said it, you know, to live like somebody, oh, we almost out of time. Well, how much do we got left? We got 3 minutes.
No, that's it. The next slide is just to say congratulations. The next slide is how to organize, and boom, the assessment. This is the end.
I don't see no congratulations on there.
I'm saying congratulations. That's the assessment. That's the.
You said the next slide said congratulations. I was looking for congratulations.
Oh no, the next one. Yeah, so this is Financial Fridays. This is talking about your assessment. The next time we will be talking, we're gonna be diving into small adjustments.
Listen, you got your assessment is in your chat right there. Make sure you work on your assessment between now and the next Financial Friday. Listen, if you already have been saving small increments and you got your CD, put it in the chat. Say, yeah, Pastor got me a CD. Unless you don't want nobody to know about it, then then don't, because your uncle might be coming trying to let me hold something, and I get that, you know what I'm saying? But listen, we want to see you do better. I'm not just on Financial Friday because I ain't got nothing to do. I want to see you do better. I want to see you get to a place of financial literacy. I want you to be able to live. I can't remember how Dave Ramsey says it, but I want you to be able to live like no one else so you can live like no one else, something like that. James, what's your closing comments? I'm on skate style. I'm rolling into home. Come on, talk to me. Time's up. We got.
Remember, small adjustments, my grinder, small adjustments.
You got 10 more seconds. You get.
No, that's it. That's all I gotta say. To all my grinders, remember small adjustments. That's the biggest thing for me.
Well, I'm going all the way to the wire, so. Listen, thank you again for tuning in to Financial Friday, where we are rising from our financial slump and thriving in financial freedom. Listen, we want to see you better. And so God bless you. Thank you again for tuning in. Look forward to seeing you on next week. Don't forget to get the assessment tool and work on that. If you got any questions, put it in the chat, and we'll do the best we can to get to the answers. Listen, God bless you. We'll see you next week. We out of here. Peace.